Alright, so let's get right into it because this is a big one, something I know a lot of you are dealing with, and frankly something that causes an insane amount of stress. We're talking about breaking free from that relentless paycheck to paycheck cycle. You know, the feeling money comes in, bills go out, and there's barely anything left, if anything at all. It's like being on a financial treadmill running as fast as you can, but not really getting anywhere. But the good news? There's a way out. It's not magic, it's not going to happen overnight, but with the right strategies and a bit of discipline, you can absolutely change your financial reality. The goal here isn't just to have a little extra cash at the end of the month. We're aiming for something much bigger, genuine financial freedom and stability. Imagine what that feels like. Not having that knot in your stomach when an unexpected bill pops up. Having the ability to make choices based on what you to do, not just what you to do to survive. Stick with me, because by the end of this, you'll have the tools you need. Alright, let's kick things off with what I consider to be the absolute cornerstone of getting your financial life in order: budgeting and tracking your expenses. Now, I know the word budget can sound incredibly restrictive, like you're putting yourself in financial jail. But I want you to flip that mindset entirely. A budget isn't about restriction, it's about empowerment. It's about giving you control, showing you exactly where your hard-earned money is going, so you can decide if that's where you want it to go. The reality is, if you don't know where your money is flowing, you're essentially flying blind. Without a budget, you're just guessing, and guessing is a terrible strategy when it comes to your financial future. A budget is your roadmap. It's the tool that shows you the path from where you are now to where you want to be. It's not about deprivation, it's about conscious allocation of your resources. Okay, so you've got your budget dialed in, you know where your money is going, fantastic work. The very next thing we need to talk about, and this is absolutely non-negotiable if you want to break the paycheck to paycheck cycle, is building an emergency fund. Think of it as your personal financial fire extinguisher. You hope you never have to use it, but if a fire breaks out, a sudden job loss, an unexpected medical bill, an urgent car repair, you'll be incredibly grateful it's there. Without it, these emergencies can send you spiraling into debt, or completely derail any financial progress you've made. So, what exactly is an emergency fund? It's a stash of readily accessible cash set aside specifically for emergencies. I emphasize true because it's not for a sale on a new TV or a last-minute vacation deal. It's for those unforeseen events that could otherwise cripple you financially. It's your buffer against the unpredictable nature of life. Having this safety net is what allows you to handle these curveballs without resorting to high-interest credit cards or loans, which just digs the hole deeper. The big question everyone asks is, how much should be in this emergency fund? The general rule of thumb, and what most financial advisors recommend, is to have 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses saved up. Now, essential is key here. This isn't 3 to 6 months of your total income or your total spending including all the fun stuff. It's what you absolutely need to cover your basics: housing, utilities, food, transportation, insurance, and minimum debt payments. Calculate this number honestly based on your budget. I know, 3 to 6 months can sound like a mountain to climb, especially if you're just starting out and cash is tight. Don't let that big number intimidate you or stop you from starting. The most important thing is to begin. Your first goal could be much smaller, say $500 or $1,000. Even that amount can be a lifesaver for smaller emergencies like a flat tire or a minor medical copay. Once you hit that initial milestone, celebrate it, and then set your sights on the next one, gradually working your way up to that 3 to 6 month target. Where should you keep this emergency fund? It needs to be liquid, meaning you can get to it quickly when you need it. However, it shouldn't be accessible, like in your regular checking account where you might be tempted to dip into it for non-emergencies. The ideal place is a high-yield savings account. These accounts are typically offered by online banks, pay a better interest rate than traditional savings accounts, and are still FDIC or NCUA insured. Crucially, keep it separate from your everyday spending accounts. Alright, we've covered budgeting and the critical importance of an emergency fund. Those are about managing the money you have. But let's be real, there's often a limit to how much you can cut your expenses, especially if you're already running a pretty tight ship. That's where the other side of the equation comes in, increasing your income. While cutting a $5 coffee saves you $5, earning an extra $100 is, well, an extra $100. The potential for income growth is theoretically unlimited, and it can supercharge your journey out of the paycheck-to-paycheck life. The first place to look for increasing your income is often your primary job. Are there opportunities for a raise? Don't just wait for your annual review, build a case for why you deserve more. Document your accomplishments, take on extra responsibilities, and research what similar roles are paying in your industry and location. Sometimes simply asking, armed with good reasons, can make a difference. If a raise isn't on the table, consider what new skills you could acquire, perhaps through certifications or online courses that could lead to a promotion or a higher paying position within your company or elsewhere. Beyond your main job, we enter the realm of side hustles. Now, hustle culture gets a mixed rap, but at its core, a side hustle is simply a way to earn additional income outside of your primary employment. It doesn't have to mean working 80 hours a week. It can be something that leverages your existing skills or interests, done in your spare time, to bring in a bit of extra cash that can make a huge difference. This extra income can go directly towards paying off debt, building your emergency fund faster, or starting to invest. What kind of side hustles are we talking about? The options are incredibly diverse. If you have skills like writing, graphic design, web development, social media management, or administrative tasks, freelancing platforms like Upwork or Fiverr can connect you with clients. The gig economy offers opportunities like driving for Uber or Lyft, delivering food for DoorDash, or performing tasks through apps like TaskRabbit. If you're crafty, you could sell your creations on Etsy or at local markets. Even something as simple as pet sitting or tutoring can bring in extra money. Think about your hobbies and passions. Is there a way to monetize them? If you love baking, maybe you could sell custom cakes or cookies. If you're a fitness enthusiast, perhaps you could teach a class or offer personal training. If you're knowledgeable about a particular subject, you could create an online course or offer coaching services. Turning something you already enjoy doing into an income stream can make it feel less like work and more like a fulfilling extension of your interests. Then there's the concept of passive income, which is often misunderstood. We've talked about managing expenses, building a safety net, and increasing your income. Now let's tackle one of the biggest anchors holding people in the paycheck-to-paycheck quicksand debt. Specifically, we're talking about high-interest consumer debt, credit cards, personal loans, payday loans. This kind of debt can feel like you're trying to swim upstream with weights tied to your ankles. The interest charges eat away at your income, making it incredibly difficult to get ahead. Reducing and ultimately eliminating this debt is a massive step towards financial liberation. It's important to acknowledge that not all debt is created equal. Some debt, often referred to as good debt, can be a tool to build wealth or improve your life circumstances, but the bad debt, the high-interest stuff used for consumption, is what we really need to focus on demolishing. It provides no long-term value and actively works against your financial goals. The very first step in tackling your debt is to get a crystal clear picture of what you owe. This means making a list of every single debt you have. For each one, write down the creditor, the total current balance, the interest rate, and the minimum monthly payment. It can be a sobering exercise, but you cannot fight an enemy you don't understand. You need to confront the numbers head on. Once you have your list, you need a strategy for repayment. There are two popular methods: the debt avalanche and the debt snowball. With the debt avalanche, you make the minimum payments on all your debts except for the one with the highest interest rate. You throw every extra dollar you can find at that high-interest debt until it's gone. Then you take all the money you were paying on that debt and apply it to the debt with the next highest interest rate. This method will save you the most money on interest in the long run. The other method is the debt snowball. With this approach, you focus all your extra payments on the debt with the smallest balance. Once that smallest debt is paid off, you snowball the money you were paying on it into the next smallest debt. Mathematically, this isn't always the optimal way to save on interest, but it provides quick psychological wins. Paying off a debt, any debt, can be incredibly motivating and help you stay committed to the plan. So, which method should you choose? Honestly, the best method is the one you'll actually stick with. If you're highly disciplined and motivated by saving the most money, the debt avalanche is probably for you. If you need those early victories to keep your momentum going, the debt snowball might be a better fit. Both methods work if you apply them consistently. Okay, so you're budgeting like a pro. You've built up that essential emergency fund, you're potentially bringing in extra income, and you're actively demolishing that pesky debt. What's next on this journey to financial freedom? It's time to start making your money work for you. And we do that through investing. This is where you transition from just saving money to actually growing your wealth over the long term. It's a crucial step if you ever want to achieve true financial independence and not have to work forever. A common misconception is that investing is only for the rich, or that you need a ton of money to even get started. That's simply not true anymore. Thanks to technology and the availability of low-cost investment platforms, anyone can start investing, even with very small amounts of money. The key is to start, and to start as early as you can, because your biggest ally in investing is time. And that brings me to one of the most powerful forces in the financial universe: compound interest. Albert Einstein supposedly called it the eighth wonder of the world. Simply put, compound interest is when your investment earnings start generating their own earnings. Your money makes money, and then that money makes more money. It's like a snowball rolling downhill, getting bigger and bigger over time. The longer your money is invested and compounding, the more dramatic the growth can be. This is why starting early, even with small amounts, is so incredibly powerful. Now, when people hear investing, they often think of picking individual stocks, trying to find the next Amazon or Apple. And while that's one form of investing, it's also one of the riskiest, especially for beginners. There are many other investment options out there. Common ones include stocks, shares of ownership in companies, bonds, essentially loans you make to governments or corporations, mutual funds, pools of money from many investors that are invested in a diversified portfolio of stocks, bonds, or other assets, and exchange-traded funds, or ETFs, which are similar to mutual funds but trade like stocks on an exchange. For most people, especially those just starting out, a fantastic way to invest is through low-cost index funds, or ETFs. An index fund is a type of mutual fund, or ETF, that aims to track the performance of a specific market index, like the S&P 500, which represents 500 of the largest US companies. By investing in an S&P 500 index fund, you're instantly diversified across hundreds of companies. These funds typically have very low fees, expense ratios, which means more of your money stays invested and working for you. It's a simple, effective, and proven strategy for long-term growth. Don't forget about tax-advantaged retirement accounts. In the US, these include things like a 401k or 403b, if your employer offers one, and individual retirement accounts, IRAs, which come in two main flavors: traditional and Roth. If your employer offers a match on your 401k contributions, for example, they match 50% of what you contribute up to 6% of your salary, you should absolutely contribute at least enough to get the full match. Alright, so we've covered a lot of ground today, but these are the absolute pillars to breaking free from that paycheck to paycheck grind and building a solid financial future. We talked about the critical importance of creating a budget and meticulously tracking your expenses. Knowing where your money is going is step one. Then we dug into building that essential emergency fund, your safety net against life's unexpected curveballs. We explored strategies for increasing your income because there's power in earning more. We also laid out a roadmap for demolishing debt, especially that soul-crushing high-interest kind. And finally, we touched on the power of investing to make your money grow for the long term. My biggest hope is that you don't just watch this video and think, "That was interesting, I want you to take action." Pick one thing, just one strategy or step we discussed today, and commit to starting it this week or even today. Financial freedom isn't a myth, it's a destination you can reach with a good map and consistent effort.